Fratton Park reacted to a 3-1 defeat in style we haven't seen before. As a result of the League One fixtures both yesterday and this afternoon, Plymouth have gone 4 points clear at the top, having played as many games as Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday. Pompey sit 9 points below a playoff spot with 2 games and in some cases 3 games in hand over teams above them, but are also now just 9 points from the top of the relegation zone. Obviously a lot of focus on the manager this evening, but we will still look back at recent games, go through our 2022 reflections and look ahead to Pompey's trip to Spurs, all right here on tonight's 4-0 Monday Live. Yes, 4-0 Monday Live. A very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. And I was just saying to the gents before we went on, I was hoping we were going to have a nice ease in back into the new year with a nice live stream. We could all have a chat. And then all of a sudden, it's come to this, hasn't it? Unfortunately for us. But what isn't unfortunate is the fact that we've got all these wonderful gentlemen who join us this evening live on the panel. A very good evening to a full crew tonight here on 4-0 Monday Live. Welcome to everyone and welcome to the, get this, 245 people that join us live across YouTube and Facebook this evening. So a very good evening to you and a very good evening to the 6 or so gentlemen that joined me too. Little Reese is here, you might recognise from yesterday's video. Retro shirt, Sean George is all the way from the sunny Devon coast. Aaron joins us from North London. Gaz is all the way over in Malta. And the 2 closest culprits, I think, if I'm right in checking with Reese, to Fratton Park this evening. Geographically wise, we're talking, I'm looking for a little nod from Reese. Is that right? Are they? Yeah, they're going to be closer. There we go. Our Brennan and Mike. And yes, tonight is a really important night. We want you to get involved as much as we want the panel to be involved. We're going to be live for as long as it takes us, I suppose, to dissect. And there's already a million comments on my screen as well. Good evening to Rebecca. Welcome along. Hello, Seti. Pompey Vlogs has said, Cowley out, he's useless. There we go. That's a good one to jump in with. Lost the dressing room. Players don't want to play for him. Has no idea what he's doing. We need a manager who wants to win games, get us promoted, and have a good connection. I can't argue about the good connection. I think that's been well established, but there we go. Sean has said getting to the Donkey Cup final will be a good season for Danny. Go now, mate. Rory said absolutely embarrassing 12th. Dinfinite Loop has said such dysfunction is the circle of life for Pompey fans these days. Carl said, regrettably, I think it's time for change. It saddens me to say this. I really wanted the Cowleys to succeed. There's hundreds of them. There's loads. This has been happening for the last 3 or 4 seasons now. I reckon there's an influential rat in the dressing room. I like Danny, but this can't carry on. Get your thoughts and reflections. I'll get them in the live chat. Get them in the live chat down below. I'll get them up on the screen. Let's hear one more from Philip saying, unfortunately, timing is horrible. We have a month to sake hire, then bring in new players, or if we sign someone with Cowley still in charge, the owners can't do a U-turn a month later. It's a waste. Right, let's go to Reese first. Good evening, mate. The opening question I was going to give to you, I've had a little bit of a practice earlier on. Would a change of manager improve results, or are this group of players simply not good enough?
Well, firstly, good evening, Tom, and good evening to all the other lads here tonight. I'm really privileged to start it all off, of course. But yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it, really? Because I think a lot of fans have alluded to it already, is that I do feel Cowley's lost the dressing room. And that's just a pure reflection on, obviously, when we do concede goals and the build-up to conceding goals. The example being Raggett yesterday, giving the ball away both times for the first 2 goals to Charlton, but it's what you do after that, and there was no plan B after that at all. You can see the players' heads were down. They weren't rushing back to the centre circle like other teams would possibly do. But then again, like you say, who do you replace him with at this time of year? We're lucky, actually, that we've just come into the January transfer window, so if they were to obviously get rid of Cowley now, it gives them the month to try and fix things as it is. But then again, you reflect on when Kenny was in charge, and obviously that didn't work out. And now Danny's in charge. He came in with such, enthusiasm, and we were all confident he was going to do the job this year for us. And like myself, like many other people, we love Danny. He's a really, really great bloke. He does a lot for the community, works really hard for Portsmouth Football Club, but it's just not working. It's really not working out. And obviously the results have paid dividend to that. But on reflection to your question, would it make a difference if somebody came in now? I'd have to say you have to take the risk. You've got to take the risk with the position that we're in. We've got the window ahead of us right now to try and make some changes and try to save our season.
We've got some comments coming in. Harry said, I agree with the constructive criticism Cowley gets as a football manager, but the insults he's receiving as a person, I don't agree with. However, as he's only human after all, play at Pompey. I did say this to the gents before we went live to the panel that joined us, and I'd like to politely ask for this in the live chat down below as well. We're going to keep things constructive if we can here on Fournilwrittenalloverit. That's always what we try to be, and we always be as impartial and as unbiased and as neutral as we possibly can. And we'll try and stage a balanced debate this evening. We really look forward to hearing what you've got to say. Taff Appease, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, I said you only have to watch Charlton to see what a change of management can do. Unfortunately, Danny is out of his depth. It's not time to be sentimental. Scott and Wander's World, who were here with us with the last time we did a live stream. So it's great to see that you guys have stuck around, both to Scott and to Wander. How have we gone from the joy and optimism of early season to this? Retro, we enjoyed many early games so far this season. We were both at Port Vale, and I remember you being there for the Bristol Rovers game at Fratton Park too, as was a number of other members of the panel tonight. Where's it all gone so wrong?
Well, I was personally surprised at the start of the season. I thought we started off better than we should have with the players that we had and the recruitment we had. I thought Cowley was overperforming. I said at the start that I still think we're a mid-table team. We don't have the goals in the team to get into the playoffs. The injuries haven't helped. And, as a manager, I like Cowley as a person, the way he engaged with the fans, the community work, etc. He's good in that sense. I do think we were a few signings short going into this. And Tom's looking up, going into this season. And, we don't have enough goals in the team. I think injuries haven't helped. And I think a couple of key injuries, a couple of bad performances, some of the defensive mistakes that they've made have just exposed us quite a bit now. And I can see why people are upset. But, it's the bigger picture. Are we really going to get promoted this season? I don't think so. So do you change the manager and then risk getting someone else in? No guarantees of improving our season. And then wasting a lot of money and not be able to perform next season. Personally, I'd stick with the Cowleys because we know what they're like. They're good at getting players in, but that's debatable.
Okay, there's 314 people here live in the stream this evening. If you're enjoying the debate so far, leave the stream a like if you're along the lines of what Reece and what Retro is saying. As someone who, as I looked up and Sean pointed out that we looked up, I wonder who that could be walking into the room. We're very quickly going to leave you for a moment, and Andrew's going to come and say hello. Good evening, mate. How are you? I'll just pull you out so you can hear everyone. Go on, the floor's yours.
Turn me around a little bit.
Hello, fellas.
Hi, Andrew.
Andrew.
Good evening, Andrew.
Good evening, Gaz from Malta. Good evening, my friend.
Good evening. How are you?
Congratulations. Looking forward to the stag party.
Yep. Happier times ahead.
Beautiful. Michael, good evening, chum.
Hello, mate. How's you doing?
Oh, great. Brenda, how are you, love?
Yeah, mate. Well, after yesterday's performance, obviously a bit down, but obviously we'll digress more into that a bit later.
You'll get over it, mate. Fish Tank, hello, son.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I've seen you for ages.
Yeah, no, just working all the time at the moment. So very busy. Very busy.
Good, man. And there's little Reece. Saw you yesterday, little Reece, didn't I, son?
Yes, mate. It's always nice to see you, mate.
And you, mate. And Retro, you've had your ears lowered, mate.
I have.
Haven't you? Looks beautiful.
Can I just say, everyone's saying hello to you. Lewis says, here's the talent, and Seti wants you as the new manager.
Well, I think I could probably do just as good a job, if not a better one, Tom, frankly, at the minute. It's one of those, isn't it? Yeah. What's the consents then? What have I missed?
Well, I think if you take your arms off the table, because you'd be knocking the camera all over the place. What's your consensus? What's your thoughts? So we've gone with Reece, we've gone with Retro. I've still got the other four gents to get to. Well, you're going to leave us your thoughts, and I politely remind you that these are Andrew's thoughts and not the views that are reflected on the channel. All yours.
Well, there's a lot to be said, isn't there? But I'm not going to say too much, of course, because there's too much to be said, and these boys, they're far more intelligent and football minded than I am. So just sort of, I would say what worries me about our football club is not particularly Danny, is about the core of the club. The Eisners to start with, then the Andrew Cullen and the disappearance of Mark Catlin. He didn't even turn up for the MK Dons game, and he was in the city because we saw him at Gunwolf Keys, and he didn't even go to the game in the afternoon. So the whole thing for me stinks, Tom, at the minute. I think there's the toxic atmosphere in the stands. Fratton End wasn't even full yesterday for New Year's Day. I just think teams like, I look at Brentford beating Liverpool tonight and the way they've come through where they were 5 years ago.
If they beat them, if they
well, they were winning 2-1, but even so, doesn't matter. But a brand new stadium, they're beating Tottenham, they're beating West Ham, they're beating Liverpool, they're drawing with Tottenham, beating West Ham, beating Liverpool. Those boys are going somewhere with a trajectory, aren't they? With a brand new stadium in a very expensive area, right? That's the first thing. Then you got Brighton and Hove Albion just down the road, making us look like Muppets, haven't you? And Bournemouth and Fulham and these little clubs that are devoted. We're not a big club anymore. No one's interested any longer because of the attitude of the business itself and the lack of my view of investment in lots of areas, not just in repairing Fratton Park Stadium and making it look half decent. It's about the whole infrastructure, and the whole thing needs a washover in my view, because we've been in this league now 7 years this season.
Something like that, yeah.
That's shocking.
Be 7 next season.
That's what
7
I'm saying.
next season.
This is Portsmouth Football Club boys we're talking about. This isn't AFC Bournemouth. They're even making us even look more stupid than we are. So we need to sort it, because there's so much passion from all of us and the fans and the support and everyone. It was so sad yesterday because it's all gone wrong, isn't it? And that's been happening for a long time, not Danny Cowley. So let's get facts on the table. It ain't all Danny, is it?
Yes.
So that's my view, boys.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for that. We'll dissect what Andrew said there a little bit later on. Before we get to Aaron, Gaz, and Brendan and Mike, I want to say hello to Jeff, who said, Happy New Year from the States. If Danny's sacked, what's the guarantee that anyone else will do better? If it's worse, how toxic will it be then? Good evening, Aaron. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Sorry it's taken us 13 minutes to get to you, but such is the nature. Right. It's a bit of a whirlwind stream tonight, and I'm sure we're going to have plenty of time for everyone to get all the points they want to get across, and that applies just as much to you 335 of you that are watching the stream as it does to the gents on the stream and the gentleman to my right. Aaron, how do you reflect on it all at the moment? What's your genuine feeling about the situation and what needs to change?
Oh God, it's hard. It's hard watching. It's hard watching all the comments from all different. Brentford's just gone 3-1 up. Yeah, so it's very difficult at the moment watching Pompey. Listen to like Guy Whittington as well yesterday. We've got no leadership on the pitch. We've got no one taking charge. Marlon Pack at the beginning of the season, it was fantastic. He was actually telling everyone where to go, get into positions. But that's all died a death. Fair enough, we've had injuries, but we can't keep using the excuse of injuries every week. I think we need to I strongly think we should change our captain. I think Robertson's a great skipper, but he's not a leader. We need someone to actually kick everyone up the arse and get motivated. Fair enough, everyone's blaming Danny. He's the manager. He's the man at the top. But the players have got to take some of the criticism as well. It is so frustrating. I would get rid of a couple of players. Probably some people on the stream won't actually like this, but I'd get rid of Piggott and Kramer because they haven't really done much. They're great at the start, but now it just seems to be fading off. It's like, get rid of them, send them back. Surely, like last season when we got rid of the loan players, easy get rid of them and get a couple of more players in. I don't want to get rid of Danny straight away, only because it's taken a couple of transfer windows to actually build up his own team. This will be his 4th transfer window. So getting rid of him now would be ridiculous, because whoever comes in will want to freshen it up, want to have their own team, and you can't just do that in a month. And then you have to gel them players back together again. So even the owners, they won't get rid of him. Look what happened to a Jacket. They did not get rid of Jacket for ages, only because then I've never actually seen the crowd at Fratton like it has, even walk towards Jacket. I've never experienced that before. That was just like, wow. After every one of their goals yesterday, and Charlton, we should have beat them, but we made them look good. There was no commitment from any of our players. I feel sorry for Danny, but I think he's too much of a nice guy. Love him to pieces. Love his work ethic. Love how he's built the trust back with the fans, with the management and the club. But for the last 3.5 months, all that hard work has just gone down the window. And it's such a shame, because he does so much for the community, so much for the kids and everything as well. He's always about with his family. They've all moved down, but something's not right. So I think we need to get rid of these loan players that we've got in. get some fresh talent in, because we've got too many players in the same positions that you take one sub off, bring another one on, and it's the same sort of play. We need to change. Yeah, fair enough. He changed his tactics at half time and 3/4 of the game yesterday, but it just didn't work. So I'm still saying Cowley in at the moment. And let's see what the transfer window does. He needs to get some people in and get rid of some people. But he may not have lost the dressing room, but there might be that little poison apple in there at the moment, just starting to infest everyone else. I don't know who it is, but yeah, I think there might be a little person in there here and there. And if it's a person I think it is, need to ship him out. Need to ship him out.
Harry said, I think I'm one of the few Cowleyanizers in. It's interesting hearing everyone's views, but let's not forget how close we were to not being a football club. That's not a quick thing to turn around. Gaz, good evening to you, mate. Thanks for being with us and thanks for waiting patiently. The light's gone off, which is not uncommon on a 4-0 live stream. So I'm going to go and deal with that in just a moment. It must be concerning from you, Gaz, watching from a distance, as you sometimes do. I know you come over for a lot of away games from Malta, but you see the manager come out and give a post-match interview that is literally off the same song script. And I'm not criticising Danny personally for that, but a concern as a fan watching it post-match week after week, the same thing.
Yeah, it's like rinse and repeat. Even before he starts, like the pre-match, he's already bigging up the team already. He's already telling us, like Charlton, they're a good team, they press well. He does all this stuff before, and he always knows what's going to be happening. And the exact thing happens during the game, and then afterwards, again, it's rinse and repeat. We weren't relentless enough. We weren't committed enough. They're not, it's just like one excuse after another. I don't want Danny to go. I want him to succeed as much, probably, I don't know, maybe 70% of the people that support Portsmouth. Because I think, he gets what Portsmouth are about. Yes, he's got the connection back with the fans. And, and I know he's probably maybe too nice of a guy, like people are saying, and is almost trying to make himself unsackable because of the stuff that he's doing, amongst the community. But there's got to be a time when, like that enough is enough, where we're a results-driven business. Now, are the Isers happy just stuck in League One, making a profit? No problem. We don't have to invest much. The manager knows that when he's recruited, the budget's not going to be big, so that you have to dive into the free transfers, the loan market. It's just like, the investment, we need a solid investment into the club. I know we were there last year in January at Sunderland. Look at Sunderland, when they went from Phil Parkinson to Lee Johnson, knee-jerk reaction. They bring in another manager, they get promoted. It's like, other teams have done it and been successful. The worry is, like we did with Jacket, we got rid of Jacket, we got Cowley in, nothing was instant straight away. And then have we progressed since Jacket in these past transfer windows? Look at the league table now. We're not any better off. We're worse than where we were before. So, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So for me, like Sean said, it would be pointless getting rid of Danny. We're just fans at the end of the day, But we would love to see a change. We'd love to see someone come in and all of a sudden everything's rosy and we're winning games and the fans are back and we get promoted. However, the reality is, who wants to come into Portsmouth at the moment where we're not playing great football? We're 12th in the league. We're not far from relegation. We haven't got many results now. We've had so many draws. We're not an attractive club like, as we were once before. Difficult times ahead for sure.
Colin says, good evening, lads. The players also need to take a long, hard look at themselves. One of the softest Pompey teams I think I've ever seen. No leaders, which is what we've already been chatting about. We've got so many comments coming on. Ritz said, HMS Pompey is currently rudderless under Danny Cowley. The players literally are devoid of confidence and in some cases motivation. The change has to happen to make the players accountable. Cameron said, I think the part of the problem Danny has is that he can't drop players that aren't performing because we just don't have the depth. Aaron, you mentioned the bad apple. Just quickly, just to come back to you, any particular names that you have? The poison apple, I think you said.
Yeah. Well, quite a few people have actually put it in the comments already. But I love this player. I've always liked this player. But I just think his attitude on the pitch is now starting to rub off in the team dressing room. And I hate to say it, but Curtis, he just seems to be like even when he got subbed yesterday, I think there was something wrong there. Why he was one of the better players in the first half, and then he gets subbed off. But then you can see his attitude on the bench when it pans round, when he's sitting on the bench, or if he's not getting the play. He's like a Primark Ronaldo, really. It's like he just like throws his dolls out the pram and everything, and like he just doesn't like it. And he's been there quite a while now, and he was supposed to set the league on fire, but he hasn't actually done anything. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a blinding player, a great person and everything, but I think watching the players and everything, one of the longest is Curtis, and I think he's probably one of the main culprits. I can't be sure, I can't be 100% accurate, but it's just my opinion and my view.
Okay, someone I know who's got an opinion on that is Brennan, and we'll come to him in just a moment. Dylan said, realistically, we haven't progressed. Jacket had better finishes, but the league is getting increasingly harder each season. Give Cowley to the end of the season with the team he's built. I think we've said it on the channel once or twice before, haven't we? Everyone seems to judge a 23, 24-game season of 46 games that we know have to be played. So maybe there's a little bit in that. A lack of urgency, Brendan, Mike, was something that I was talking about with Dan at halftime yesterday. It looked very lackadaisical. It looked like no one was really bothered. It looked like there were misplaced passes, miscues, miscommunication, and it has all the hallmarks of a broken side. And sorry to keep you waiting. The floor is yours.
No, don't apologise, Tom. We've got a good show going on. Yeah, I would say there was a lot of that. Lackadaisical, no urgency in the team. I felt Piggott and Scarlett didn't work well together at all. Just seemed like they were filling each other's spaces. And when Scarlett did get the opportunity to shoot, he didn't shoot. Whereas, like, if you're hot for a goal, if you need a goal, you take your shot at the end of the day, don't you? He's been on a goal drought in the league for quite a while now. And scored since maybe Port Vale, I think was his last league goal. I want to say Port Vale away. And it's not great. And
are we talking about Scarlett?
Yeah, Scarlett. Yeah, it was at Port Vale away.
Peterborough at home, September the 3rd.
All right. So so even since then, he sort of braced that day, and he hasn't done much since. So it's a pity. It really is. Across the back yesterday. Again, Morrison, he gets a lot of flack, and half the time I'd say rightfully so. A lot of his, when he does a clearance, first time clearance, it always falls back down to an obvious opposition player. We look at the second goal for them. Raggett's pass across the field, intercepted out, then they score directly from it. I don't know. I couldn't. Obviously, the ball come in my direction of the stadium, and I was like, "Where is that ball going? Who's it going to?" You know, you're taught from a kid, don't play across your goal. I know he's 30 yards from goal, but God, man, not there. Not with a sea full of players in the middle of the pitch. Hit it up the line and get. I think Crackers was on the pitch then, just going at him. You know. Oh, about Cowley as well.
Yeah, no, about Cowley. No, you carry on. They want you to talk about Cowley and what you think, whether he should stay or go. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I don't think he should go. Like, I've said it for a long time. I even said it up at Exeter. I said you can't sack him, because you sack him, you got to pay for him to leave, pay for Nicky to leave, pay for Bassey to leave, and then you recruit the new ones. But you need to pay them a signing on fee, and then where's your budget? Brendan? He ain't gonna walk. No, he's got too much pride to walk. He loves this club. You can tell it in the way he is. You know, we've met him several times, Tom, face to face, and you know, I've met him at dues and stuff, and he's a really top bloke. And I think he loves this club, and you can tell that he wants it to work. It hurts him. Like, we've mentioned him tonight, Kenny Jackett. The way Danny walks around all the way around the stadium to clap all the fans after every game, even like recently when we've been playing absolutely shocking, and he's getting chants of Cowley out, and he's sacked in the morning, and he carries on walking around. Yeah, he takes it on the chin, which is, well, I think fair play to him. Jackett never did any of that. Good gosh, no. Jackett never walked around the stadium. He was shook hands to the opposition manager, shook hands to the ref, and straight down the tunnel. But Mike, yeah, he ain't going anywhere.
Yeah,
go on.
Go on. No, well, you ask. Go on.
I was just going to say, I'm going to ask you the title of the live stream. Is time up for Danny Cowley?
No, it's not. And I hope his daughter's watching, because apparently she watches 4-0 written all over it. Hope she's watching the live stream as well. Take it back to your dad that a large majority of fans want your dad to stay, and your uncle and the rest of the team. We want you to stay and fight for this club. We know you will. I just want you to hear it from the fans that we want you there. We want you fighting for us. There's nobody without so much as enthusiasm as your dad has shown, and Nicky and Simon, that he's done wonders for the community. He's done wonders for the club. I want him in. I want him in, and I think most people want him in. Yes, stay, Danny, stay.
And individual mistakes are not Danny's fault. I must say this to you, Tom, at some point. I think I said it in the end of the game against Exeter when walking back from the ground. I said mistakes are not Danny's fault. Mistakes are made by the players, like Raggett's pass, Griffith spilling it to Marcus Harness, or no, to Chaplin. Cowley can't fix someone passing the ball wrong, you know?
And there was a lot of that recently.
So much of it. It's harsh. I understand people's frustration. I do. We've been there. God, we've lived through the frustrations. Not just now, previous years, Dad. Good God.
Yeah.
And, you know, times with Terry Fenwick in charge and, you know, those eras, Ian St. John. It's not the first time. And I understand that as a large fan base, a large majority of the fan base now are people who are my age, in their late 20s, early 30s, and Reese's age. We grew up in the early, and Tom, we grew up in the early 2000s. Well, coming to Fratton Park in the early 2000s. We were in the Premier League and we're beating Liverpool at home. We're beating Man United at home. We're beating Arsenal.
Well, winning the championship.
Yeah, winning the league. You know, Pompey didn't start in 2002. We started in 1898. And we need to focus on the fact that, yes, results aren't good, but with Pompey, we're strong. We're an island city. We need to get behind this now. And these protests, people are talking about boycotting. What does that do? Boycott does nothing. We need to get behind the team and get behind them well.
I've sent you guys, those that were on the feed, a couple of articles that are going to be in the press tomorrow that have been, the news have printed them, they put them out, but they're not in the paper. The paper comes out tomorrow. You'll see what it means to Danny, this football club, when you read it tomorrow. And it will show his heart and soul. We need to stick with him. We need to back him. I'm sure he'll pull it round. I really do. And I don't think the Islers are going to get rid of him. Andrew Cullen gets on great with him. We've just brought in a new technical director, sort of, you know, for transfers and stuff like that. No, we've got to stick with him. I do want to come on a bit later on to talk about what Conor Ogilvie said yesterday.
Sure.
But at the moment, let's stick to Danny. Yeah, he's in.
Retro, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, you know, the response I'd like to see from Danny is actually I'd like him to actually drop some of the players in the team. And if that means playing players that aren't in the right position, so be it. I'm tired of Raggett not clearing the ball from his line and hitting the first man every time, not being close enough to his man in the box, simple areas. Brendan said about passing across the box, that second goal. The players that have been coming in and doing well are the young, hungry ones, Swanson, Hume. I want to see more of them. Scarlett hasn't offered anything since Peter game. I think he should go. Piggott, Bishop does well. And Curtis, he may have his detractors, but I like seeing that passion on the pitch. And I'd rather he played. And I do think Rico Hackett hasn't had much of a look in as he should have had. I think some of our midfielders are a bit lightweight. But we'll come on to that.
We will. There's 400 people live with us here on YouTube and Facebook. Very good evening to you all, and thank you for being with us. The time has just gone 7:30. We're live on 4-0 Monday Live tonight. Obviously, we couldn't be on a 4-0 Sunday Live for obvious reasons, as we would have just been uploading our video from the day. I'm delighted to see how many people are getting involved. I put a poll in the chat whilst Brendan and Mike were talking there. Is time up for Danny Cowley, which is the title of the stream. We're currently running at 52% Cowley in, 48% Cowley out. Now, that reminds me of a certain May 2016 vote, but we'll come back to that and let everyone dissect that, and you'll have seen it at the top of your screen as you're watching the stream. We're back to 51% in and 49% out. I'm watching it live at the moment, so let us know. It's one of the joys of having a live stream is that we can get some real-time interaction with you at home. Kane Doolan has said, and Sean's just about to go and vote. Kane Doolan said, I think emotions are getting the best of us. There are problems beyond Cowley. I want to see some transparency from the owners and staff. He should not be taking accountability for the whole club. Cornish Pompey is talking to someone else, I think. I think that's in response to what you were saying there, Mike. Not too sure about that from social media. Well, we're We're having a social media vote now, and you can see that it's pretty split 50-50 at the moment. JRB3112 said, we are lacking major investment. Relying on loan players is killing our team and our chances. We need our players playing for the badge and not loanees from rivals. Although we should say one of the highlights of the team at the moment is Owen Dale, who plays for a team that's in the league above us. So there we go. Taff said, definitely not the large majority who want Danny to stay. This is business, not let's keep the nice guy employed. Lewis has said, with the exception of Dale, I would send the loanees back to their parent club. I like Scarlett, but he does not have the experience for playing at this level. Jay Lake said, Danny to stay. This is just a rough patch that needs to be rode through. I'm so sick of the Cowley and Eisner's out rabble. Cowley in, mate. I honestly think he's brilliant, but the players need to buck up. I'd give my blood for 1,000 plus a week, let alone what they're on. Cowley are not the problem. How is this even a conversation? There's a clearly problem when we can't pass the ball to each other. Tactically inept, says Glyn. And Dan Richardson, who is always a voice of common reason. And this one's to you, Reese. To all those wanting Danny Cowley out, give me some alternatives. And actually, we've gone a whole loop. We kind of spoke about this at the top of the show, didn't we?
Yeah, and I think on reflection, the reasons I gave earlier in terms of obviously like the risk taking and things is purely from results point of view. We haven't won in the league since, was it Forest Green away 1-0 on October the 22nd or something like that? The same weekend, I believe, that Charlton won their last one before, of course, beating us at Fratton yesterday. And I'm looking at it from that point of view. I completely understand, like everybody's gone through here and discussed about obviously giving it until at least the end of the season and things, because I think Aaron was right in saying that obviously if we did get a new manager in and having the month ahead to obviously bring in their own players, it's going to take a lot longer than that to gel them together. And I think if we was to act now and get Cowley out, the alternatives out there are quite limited, because as every Pompey fan realistically would be, is to think who would join us in the position that we're in with what's going on in terms of on the pitch. You wouldn't have people like Wilder, you wouldn't have people like Warnock joining us, but
Right.
They are the type of manager that I would like to see, a bit of grit, those that obviously don't take any nonsense and isn't scared to drop players that aren't performing. That's the biggest indicator of the kind of manager that I would like to see. But unfortunately, the other side to that is it's all good wanting that, but who would join us at this point of view with the experience of which I've just described?
Here's a comment from Biley. I'm sorry, but you guys are total 7 to come in and act as if you speak for the majority of the fans is not on. Clearly, the majority are not in favour of Cowley staying. Ritz has said you're too emotionally involved. Nobody doubts that Danny Cowley isn't a good man and nobody doubts his personal ethics, but I can't just press repeat and hope. And I'd say to both of you two that this is the joy of a live chat. We are having a discussion. Everyone has an opinion and you're more than welcome to voice that if you so wish. These gentlemen have not been told to say anything. They've not been told to say whatever. They've been told to speak their mind, and they'll all personally verify that. 2 minutes before we went live on air, I said, please express yourselves, speak your mind, and tell us exactly what you want to say. Sean, what would you say to the comments that would say that we're slightly emotionally involved? What would you say to that?
I think all fans are emotionally involved. We all want the best for our team. We all got our own perspectives, and it's judged on how we judge life generally. And I try to be positive and try and see a positive outlook on this. And, people say that, Gaz was saying before that we're in the same position as we have with a jacket. Well, I don't think so, because the relationship we have with the management is far different. And actually, the players that we've seen come in are the sort of players that we like. It's just the fact that they're not performing the way we'd want them to perform. And, we do speak from our heart as fans. And I personally think that, the good times are ahead. But you've got to have the bad times first. You've got to stick together and you've got to go with it and ride with it. And it will come good eventually. But yeah, I speak for me, no one else.
I think we'll all say that as well. Aaron, you said to me that you were going to keep personal eye on the live chat this evening, and I'm sure you have. And we'll go through a few of those. Brandon said, even if you sack Cowley, who'll be the next manager. Plus, it's not Cowley who the problem, it's the players because they're not working hard enough for the badge. Jake is delighted with the point. Jake is, if anyone doesn't know, he's a Lincoln fan, so he's just as delighted as we are, mate. So congratulations. David has said, it seems to me that this panel are more worried about Cowley being a nice bloke rather than what is right for the club. I think I speak for all of us in saying that that's not the case, David. Darren has said, need players that have contracts, not subcontractors. You always get better performances. But players, they have no security. Daniel has said, managers would love to come to Pompey. Big fan base in a club, it's rubbish that they would be put off. Anthony said we can't spend money on always changing management and then building on players. The owners need to put money in and not on loan players. Pompey Sire said there will always be managers who want to manage the club. Large and loyal fan base for a decent level, decent budget, great opportunity with supportive owners. Aaron, you've read the room. We've had 35 minutes of debate. How are you currently feeling right now in terms of the split amongst the fan base? And it's never good to see as much unrest as we're currently experiencing.
It's amazing what the fan base has gone through over the last 3.5 months. Like, everyone was 100%, oh, we're getting promotion. You had the realistics people and you had the optimists as well. But now, yeah, fair enough. We've won 1 game in 14. 6 points in the last 9 games. It's heartbreaking, yeah. But we have blips every season. This one seems to be going on a little bit longer. You can't always just blame, like I said before, the injuries. But at the beginning of the season, we had strength and depth. But then some of the players are just not performing. And it just seems a bit, yeah, I can understand there's toxicity at the club and the fan base is split. Yeah, fair enough. All of us here are saying, look, there's no point getting rid of Cowley. And the reason why we don't get rid of Cowley is because it's going to cost too much money. It will cost us to pay him out of his contract, then sign another manager on a contract. Then if he doesn't succeed, then we have to pay him out of a contract. So you're looking at about 10 to 15 million before you even start signing players again. So then you're stuck with loan players, free agents. At the beginning, when the Eisners first took over, they said they will put money into the club. If you want to get players in and spend millions and millions, go and support Barcelona. Go and do this, that, and the other. We're not actually going to chuck hundreds of millions into there just to get to the Premier League in 5 years. They've got a life plan. So we've got to build brick by brick. They're doing it. We've now got our own training facility. They're now actually redeveloping Fratton Park. It needed it because otherwise this season, our fan base at Fratton Park would have been less than 10,000. And you can't have that. 10,000, we're pushing 18,000 at the moment. If they didn't do the work that needed, we would be at 10,000 capacity this year, which is just unacceptable. But they are spending money. The owners are spending money. But I think this transfer window, we were only supposed to be tweaking it because we had a good squad at the beginning of the season. So this transfer window, just tweak it here and there. But now it needs major work because let's see what this month happens. If the owners are serious of getting us into the Championship, it's going to be really difficult. Really difficult now this season. But if they're committed and they want Danny, they obviously going to keep Danny because they don't like getting rid of people. So they've got to put their money in the pockets and give him a bit of a bigger budget and Danny's really got to get some players in. And instead of going for the loan and lower league players, I think he should actually try and get some free agents or anyone from the Championship. Because if we want to compete next year in the Championship, with this squad, we will be relegated straight away. Because there's no way we compete. We can't even compete at the moment in League One, let alone doing that in the Championship. But I'd say give it to the end of the transfer window, see what he gets in, and then, yeah, see what happens. But even seeing the video with Cowley yesterday, interviewed by Jordan, he was virtually in tears. You could actually see he was an emotional wreck yesterday. And it's heartbreaking because he's trying. But the players have got to take responsibility as well. So you can't always just chuck it onto the manager. Yeah, he is the one writing the camera all the time, but he's taken to training. He's teaching them how to do this, do that, do this, do that. Go to the game, and the confidence is not there. But we get 2 winning games, and you watch the confidence will just go through. And knowing Pompey, we'll beat Tottenham on next Saturday, and then we'll beat Bolton in the Papa John's Cup. And then we lose the next league game. So we're back to square one. But cup games, we seem to be doing all right. But because Tottenham's struggling as well at the moment, all their fans are booing them. So it'd be a Pompey way to go to Tottenham and beat them. But we just need to get 2-3 games win. And then go on to a little bit of a winning run. And then you'll watch the fan base all turn back and go, yeah, it was just a blip. But yeah, we'll see. But transfer is very important now.
I apologise if I haven't got to your comment yet already. They're pinging through like no one's business. So we'll get to a few quickly before we go to Gaz. Cameron has said, I think people need to remember we've played the fewest games in the league and our table position looks worse than it is. If we won our 3 league games in hand, we'd be right back into the playoff conversation. There was another one that said, oh, it's disappeared. There it is. Johnny said, unfortunately, we are not a big club anymore. That's a fact. We don't have managers forming a queue to manage us. Manjit said, good debate and good panel. Thank you very much for that. That's the first positive one we've had of the night, boys. Whee! There we go.
That's the boys.
Lewis has said, why so much Eisner negativity? They have been completely consistent in their stewardship of the club since taking over from fan ownership, which only had limited sustainability. Thanks for throwing that one in there, Lewis. Limited sustainability of the football club. There we go. Tony Bryant has said, Cowley's done. You have to be ruthless in football, and Cowley isn't good enough. Cornish Pompey said, the Eisners have given this club stability after years of uncertainty and near expulsion. We are Pompey. We have been a second-tier team for 46 years of my life. Aaron is spot on. Right, Gaz, I wanted to ask you about losing the dressing room and to what extent you think that has happened. And I think it's also worth saying as well that, and this is just me trying to balance things out, because I know we're showing maybe one side on the live chat and one side on the stream, and I want to make sure that we're as neutral as we possibly can be. What would you say to the argument that at any other club, 1 win in 14 means that a manager is sacked, end of, and because it's Pompey, then that's not yet the case?
I mean, it is a results-driven business. We know that. But reality is we've lost 5 games this season and we've drawn a hell of a lot of games. 5 games this time. If you'd have said we'd have lost 5 games between the beginning of the season and Christmas, you'd have took that, wouldn't you? However, we've been unfortunate with so many draws. I don't think there's a massive dressing room dispute personally. I just think there's... we've just been unlucky in games. And there are some players that aren't playing to the level where we want them to play. Silly mistakes. It's just unfortunate circumstances where we are. Like I said, I want to give Danny a chance. I want him to succeed as much as most people did at the beginning. I know the poll is split. Some people are saying we're more Portsmouth than, we're more Danny, and we all have our opinions. I want them to succeed. I want to be Portsmouth. I want to be a championship team. I fly over many times, as you know, to come and support Portsmouth. But I haven't had results coming across there. Ipswich away, Charlton away. Both games I've lost heavily.
Port Vale.
And Port Vale. Yeah, but we won that one. I flew over for Barnsley. It got cancelled. I flew over for Bolton. It got cancelled. I've just been unlucky with my games.
And Gaz, you don't fly over to watch Danny Cowley, do you? You fly over to support your football club. We should make that clear.
Yeah. But I know Danny's in charge, But I support the club, the badge. Meet up with you guys, and sing for 90 minutes, and hopefully we have a good time. Win or lose, up the Blues. It's a difficult situation at the moment. Not nice times. It would be great to have a crystal ball. What's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks, but we don't have that, unfortunately. It's what it is, as they say, this is the story of last season. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's the one. Brendan, Mike, people trying to justify 1 win in 14. Brendan, can you justify 1 win in 14?
You can't really. I understand where they're coming from completely. Just so I want manager to stay doesn't mean I don't justify winning 1 in 14. We've all said it tonight. It's not about, it is about the result. At the end of the day, it's not like us to sack managers. It's not the way that we want to go forward as a club by sacking a manager every 6 months. Don't be like another Watford, do we? That's a joke of a club. In the sense of sacking managers, not the fact that they're a championship team. Yeah, I'm not happy with the results, but I'm not going to stand there and call for managers' heads. That's not my decision. And what's me saying Cowley out on Twitter going to do? Nothing. What's the point? And I don't want Cowley out either. But I just, what I mean? It baffles me. Yes, it's not acceptable. What else do you want me to say? But the fact I don't want the manager sacked is a different thing.
Mike, can I throw this one to you because you're always good at a comeback? HGFPOR has said you're all deluded if you think Crowley, I think it means Cowley, can turn things around. We're on a downward spiral towards the relegation zone. Let's not fool ourselves. Now, it should be pointed out. Let's get the facts on the table. 9 points above us takes us to the playoffs. 9 points below us takes us to the relegation zone. That's how it is at the moment. A certain a phrase beginning with three, an M and a T and an M from Retro Shirt Sean springs to mind, which no one's got that. Mid-table mediocrity was what I was going for there. But you're 9 points above. Oh, hello, Aaron's on the move. You're 9 points up, Mike. You're 9 points down. Are we all deluded if we think Cowley can turn it around?
No, because I'm sure he can. Just when's the turnaround going to start? I thought
he turning it around. Would a playoff spot be turning it around? What would you consider turning it around?
No, anywhere. I mean, from where we are at the moment, anything in the top 10 is turning it around for my eyes. When we played Ipswich, we played them well. We were good. It started at Exeter. Exeter, we played better than we had done for the games previously. Ipswich was an improvement on that. That was really good. And in fact, if you look through your feed, you'll find, I think it's Lewis Clements, I think, who's turned around, who is an Ipswich fan. And he says, how can you play so well as you did against us and then play so terribly yesterday? And then he's quite right. I mean, I saw it. But I want to go on that, yes, he can turn it around. But this is, Conor Ogilvie said, this is from Andrew Moon on his Twitter, and I just need to read a couple of phrases that Conor's come up with. He says, I can't put my finger on it, to be fair, but everyone has to be accountable now and step up. We're gutted. Everyone has to step up and start performing. And when asked about complaint about the fans, he says they've got every right to be, and how they are performed. Those performances haven't been there, and the results haven't been there. And then asked about conversations needed this week, he says, we've got to speak as a group. We can't fight against each other. We've got to fight as one and give the fans something to cheer about. Now, that's one person coming out. Here, right, he scored the goal. He was the one that was dragged out in front of the press yesterday. Or hopefully he came out of his own fruition and decided to tell us these things. So what that suggests to me is that there are divides within the team. How big those divides are, I don't know. I'm not saying there is divides. All I'm saying is that it gives me shades that there are divides. Whether it's a simple thing, defence, midfield, forwards, I don't know. But I thought yesterday the midfield played quite well, and we're working as a unit until it started to go, Pete Tong with old Pat being sent off. The defence was shocking yesterday. But anyway, all I'm trying to get at is there's something not right within the team, and I don't think it's the manager. Yeah. I don't think it is at all. So there's something not right. Morel had a brilliant game, as far as I'm concerned, compared with everybody else on the pitch yesterday. And Ipswich. And Swanson, I don't know why he got taken off. I don't know whether there's an injury or not. But just to go a little bit further with that, people are talking about budgets and everything. Has anybody actually listened to Andrew Cullen's interviews that he's been given recently talking about the budget? You ain't going to know what our budget is and how much we've got to spend. There is a list that I think it's the EFL come up with, and it says what people have got to spend and how they can spend it. If we go above that, we get fined. We lose money. So don't think it's a case of just ditching players and then buying more in. You can't do that anymore. That is all gone. And what you pay them, it all goes into an equation and into a formula. Football has gone a lot further than just getting rid of 11 players and buying another 11. That doesn't happen anymore. There is another thing that Brendan wanted to show you. That let me just try and find it on my...
But while you do that, Mike, I'll get through a few more of these. Go on. Oh, we've got it. Go on.
Right. So this is from a mate of mine, Mike Hall.
I don't know if you remember Mike Hall, or Mika Hall, most people might see his name as, but we sat with him in the North Stand for many, many years. And this is when the trouble started with the Al Farage, Fareems, and all the administration and things. And Guidemac. But Mike Hall has always had the heart of the club at his heart, and he is an absolute diamond of a guy if you want to meet with him and speak with him. But Brendan wants to read you this.
He was even part of the PST when they took over the club. He was on that. He was actually on the board of directors at the time. Anyway, so what he said, But my thoughts, he said Pompey's budget is about 6. It's at the limit of what we can spend under financial fair play. If we spend more than we get, you'll find and dock points. So you can use the word ambition till you're blue in the face. We are as ambitious as we are under the rules. It's not even mentioning losing millions because of the effects of COVID. Teams with higher budgets have a higher gate. We need to increase the capacity. The owners are doing that. A 21,000 capacity, Fratton Park gives scope for an increased budget within the rules and business sense. The manager and the team now need to deliver a top 6 team. The Eisners literally cannot do more without breaking the rules. So all this stuff about Eisners out, you need to invest. It's not in the budget to go and spend 5 million on a centre midfielder or a centre back. You need to play within the rules of what was agreed by the EFL at the end of the day.
And the reason why that was all brought in and financial fair play was to stop things like what happened to us in the first place happening, of course, and we should point that out. Yes.
Correct.
Let's get through some comments then. Harrison said it's bad, but it's not horrific. Win our 3 games in hand and get a goal difference of +9. We can go 5th. Great panel, by the way. There's the second one of the night, everybody. We're we'll take that. Jack has said if they're going to sack him, they have to do it now. We have a free game at the weekend where we aren't expected to win. If they don't do it now, they won't do it. I personally think he should go. Keith has said, let's see what happens in the transfer window. No point in blaming the Eisners. Their hands are tied. If they break the rules, we lose points, which is exactly what you were saying. Richard has said, hi guys, Richard in Spain. Hello, Richard. Danny's a good guy, but winning games is what it's all about. This would be controversial, but I would love have Harry to come back. SOS, save us, Harry, play at Pompey. And interestingly, that was something that, was it you, Retro, that said before we went live? I think it might have been. I wasn't going to reveal it, but I thought, why not? That gentleman's mentioned it, so we'll bring it on. Dan said something. He said only 5... No, that's it. Yeah, director of football. See you later, Hughesy. We've got Redknapp's coming back. Only 5 defeats in 22 league matches. How often have we said it's about momentum? 1 win can be all it takes. Thank you very much for that. A random person has said the owners are only investing in the club and the facility, so they have more assets to sell the club with. They're businessmen and don't have any interest in promotion. Harrison again said 3 games in hand. Let's win them, and we are level with Derby and Bolton, who's sitting 5th and 6th. It's not as bad as it looks. Good window, and we can try again. Good evening to Intrepid Bun. I hope you're well. What's the... I want to see the other Josh get a chance, Reese. Thoughts on the Oluwayemi Griffiths debate? That might be something we could chat about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually, I'm a big fan of him. You know, every time he's stepped on the pitch for Pompey, I've been really, really impressed with him. You know, in the cup games and that, especially at Crawley with the penalty shootout and things. And he was very, very good against Ipswich away in the cup. I think I know obviously there's the debate about him going out on loan and gaining experience and things, but I'd be quite disappointed actually. I know you could have a debate, is he ready for league football and things like that, but I've not actually been disappointed in any of the performances he's put in since wearing a shirt for Pompey. I can't think of many.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah, spot on.
Sean, there's a comment on here which I thought was quite comical. I wanted to try and find it, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. It was something that said that we are a Michael Eisner fan club or something like that, which I thought was quite funny. But there we go. Adrian, this is clearly an Eisner's fan club. Well, welcome to the club, Adrian. I don't know where you've been for the last 55 minutes, but there we go.
He'll join us over here now. He's over here.
Retro, what have you made of the discussion and some of the live chat too?
It's been interesting. You know, I'm grateful to the Eisners for saving our club, no doubt, and I'm grateful for them, you know, giving stability and investing in the club, because I don't think we could have done it as a trust. I don't think that the money was there, the backing was there, and the stability we've got now, we've had in my lifetime, is the most stable the club's ever been, and for that I'm thankful. I've got a team to support. And I remember, you know, League One football, and that was it. That was what we had. And it was trying to stave off relegation every year. What I like about Cowley is it was his vision for the club when he came in. And I understand what Aaron's saying about the cost of sacking him. It's not that what I want. You know, I want him to deliver the vision he promised. His idea, his football playing, that's what I want. And I just want to give him the time to do it. And the Eisners, I'm grateful. But again, you know, I think they're doing what they can, as Brendan says, in the rules of football, increasing the capacity, increasing the training ground. And I don't think it's for the value of the club to sell it on. I do think they're here for this long stay, and that's what I want, stability.
Aaron, You on board with stability?
Yeah, definitely. You have to, because otherwise you can end up like Derby and getting into so many situations. And we don't want to go back to what we were in the Premier League with all these point deductions and almost going into oblivion. Look at all the clubs over the last couple of years that have actually lost and like had to be wound up because overspent and their budget has just gone through the roof. It'd be amazing to have all these excellent players, but you have to pay within your means. If you go out like the EFL rules, and it's clearly on the EFL website, so if anyone doesn't agree with what Brendan and Mike said, you can actually go on the EFL website and actually see the rules and everything, and it's in the sections as well. So you can't spend. You only can. The only way we're going to actually spend more and more money on players is if everyone just goes and buys more and more merchandise. The more, that's how you get more money into the club. You get more money in, get more people coming in through the doors, and then you can spend more money. But unless you've got the money going through the books, you cannot overspend. So that's why we've got like literally the basic players on loans and free agents that don't cost that much, and then you do get what you pay for. But at the moment, stability is it is key, because at the end of the day, we've only lost we lost profit and everything through COVID, but then we've been stable. We weren't making money, so you can't overspend anymore, because I don't want to see us go out of business. No chance. And look what happened to Derby. Look what's happened to all these other clubs. Is it Maidenhead as well that actually went completely gone? Or is it Maidenhead? I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. But yeah, you've got to be stable. You've got to be stable. Look at the stadium now. It's looking so nice. Yeah, fair enough. They're a little bit behind with the Milton end, but it all takes time. But yeah, but if you want to compete in the higher levels, you have to have more capacity in the stadium. Because if you don't have that higher capacity, you're not going to get the money in to actually pay for even more players. So yeah, stability is it is key.
Gaz, let me chuck this one at you. Jacob said, Tom, can you ask the guys this question? Do you believe Danny was the right man for the job, or do you believe anyone but Jacket mentality when the change of managers took place? And thoughts, and then anything else you wanted to add from the discussion?
No, I mean, let's face it. When we got towards the end of the Jacket era, we were all fed up from past seasons before, and the season had gone almost by the time the Cowleys came in. So we all cried for a new manager, new change of manager. But obviously, Danny, he had a track record at Lincoln. It looked like he'd done well at Huddersfield, etc. So there was a bit of a CV coming into the club, and we all thought, brilliant. We've got this new ethos coming in. We're going to do a different style of play, etc. And I said at the beginning of the season, we were playing really well of this season. I said, and everyone's on board, everyone's happy. And I said to her on the stream, in our chat for the WhatsApp, our 4-0 chat, it's all right when it's going good, but let's see when it goes bad, and let's see what the fans do and how quick they turn on the club. And I was right. It's like every single club does it. From all 92 clubs, as soon as it starts going sour, boom, the manager's got to get the sack, But I'm sure Danny doesn't get up in the morning and think, nothing to do, what shall I do? He puts 110% on the training, and he puts 110% into the club, and he just needs to get that, that luck. That's all we need, that little bit of luck, and things could change. This time next month, when we go into February, we could be like talking about, a cup run, a Bolton win, and we could be going into, February with a bit more confidence, We don't know what's going to be around the corner. But I don't think that Danny just wakes up and doesn't give a toss about the club. That's my opinion. He gets the club.
Can I just add something onto that, actually, in terms of to the question put out to us always? I think he was the right manager. It wasn't just a point of anybody but Jacket, because we were so disinterested in, obviously, the way that Jacket was as a manager. He was not connected with the community. He had a disinterest, obviously, with the fans around him. Danny was everything that we wanted in Portsmouth Football Club. The passion, the connection, the going above and beyond for all the young fans out there. So I do think he was the right call. It's just unfortunate, like we've just alluded to, is what's happening now.
Yeah, and it's actually quite incredible how I saw a comment that when Gaz was talking there, that saying that it's quickly changed. I know it's 14 games, but it doesn't feel like it's been a long time since we were sort of happy as Larry and all kind of, and the mood can switch. And I actually remember walking out of Danny's office, having spoken to him for a video on this channel. And I was thinking to myself, I don't think he's a sackable manager if and when it gets to that point. And that's not me trying to be facetious and talk about how we're in this situation. Oh, look how right I was, or look how wrong I was. What I'm trying to say is that he went over and made this guy a cup of tea when I was sat there getting my camera ready. He was the most sort of is the most welcoming person. He was the most ordinary. Okay, the most ordinary person. So and that's not me sat here trying to defend what's happening. That's not me saying that at all. What I'm saying is, I doubt you will find someone else who will give the time to the community, who will go to the opening night of the Panto at the King's Theatre, who will go and turn the Christmas lights on in Commercial Road and Cascade, buy into the club and the city as much as he has done. If you want to go back to Kenny Jackett era, be my guest, but you won't get any of what you've had in the last, what is it now, 2 years in March. Just before we come back to Brendan the Mike, you've rejoined us. I don't know if you're reading any of the chat or have heard of what the guys have been saying. Was there anything you wanted to add and answer Ben's question? Is this whole panel pro Cowley?
Well, I don't know if we are or not, Tom, because I don't know.
You clearly haven't been watching then.
No, I mean, maybe the 6 people on the panel, including yourself, are pro Cowley. Maybe I don't know. Everyone's thought, folks. I haven't been watching it all, have I? I've been downstairs eating my dinner.
Oh, great. So clearly this is very important to you.
Well, I see a couple of comments on there. It is, of course, it's important. I see a couple of comments on there. Plymouth are on a similar budget to us, if not less.
We've already discussed the budget, so we can avoid
those
that.
Sorts of things that I see coming up.
You wanted me to find a particular one, didn't you?
That was on
that
there.
One.
Yes. Well, I can't see it because you've hidden it. Not the Eisners. No, the Eisners did not say the club. PST did,
That's what you wanted me to click on.
Which is true. Someone mentioned the Eisners came and saved us, but they didn't. The club was sold to the Eisners on the cheap. Let's face it, and we should have. We should, in my view, the reason we were sold to Eisners, was because if you wanted to be in the Championship, you need another 35 million quid. That was the headline. That was what they said. That's why we sold the club, allegedly.
Can I ask you if you think Cowley being a friend and a nice guy is more important than Pompey results? Because it absolutely cannot be, can it? Really?
I think to 18,899 less U7 and myself, I think yes is the answer to that. Given the appalling performance against MK Dons, given the luck we had against Ipswich, and what I think Danny doesn't get is the basics right. That's my problem with Dan. He's a great guy, but when you watch game in, game out, where we stand off players by 2 meters, we don't make a tackle, we don't close them down, we give them space to play football. MK Dons only go to football inside, neither Charlton. We made them look half decent because we gave them the space they needed to play the ball. You got to close these teams down quicker, and you got to get on them. They had 3 men on every player with us, both of them. What do? We stood off and let them play football, and that's tactical nonsense, isn't it? And that's my concern. That is Danny better to stay there as the coach, trainer on the training pitch, and we put a figurehead manager in there with him. I'd like to see that happen, perhaps.
But many people will be asking what's going on at the training ground to make the football so bad to watch at the minute.
Well, that's possibly right, Tom. And is it Danny's? Has he got an influence in there? Is Nicky taking all the training? I don't know. We don't watch it, do we?
Do you see? Sorry to leave the stream for a moment, but I know Andrew's kind of coming and going. I just want to ask you one more question. Do you think that he's lost the dressing room? Because there's been a lot of what we should say very clearly is speculation. There is nothing to confirm nor deny that has happened in terms of losing the dressing room. But
I don't think Danny's a big character, Tom.
Okay.
I don't think he's a big character. That's the issue, really. Jackett, give him whatever you like. He was a dominant character, wasn't he? He was a big chap. Didn't say a lot. What he did say was probably a little bit aggressive. Has Danny got an aggressive bone in him? Is he too much of a nice guy to these players? Should there be a player? Should there be? The other question I was going to ask, should there be and is there a player on the pitch that's the leader? What is Raggett doing with the armband? I don't understand it. You want Marlon Pack with the armband and Marlon Pack getting those players as a
Aaron
senior,
mentioned that earlier,
a senior player, making sure that these players are playing a tune. Someone like him could be the figurehead. No one's talking to anyone.
Kane has said defensive problems are definite. Watching the highlights was like watching overgrown 13-year-olds not understanding man marking or even concentration on the man. There's a lot of approval for what you're saying, Andrew. It's the balanced view that is lacking here. I tell you what, that's the very first time I've ever heard anyone ever say that. So there we go. We normally get the complete opposite, but there we go. Brendan, Mike, your thoughts on what you've been seeing from the discussion, and anything you'd like to add before we start to head off. We're over our hour, and I'm sure there's plenty more that we could chat through. Probably go for one more loop and then see.
Yeah, just pick up on what Andrew was saying, and somebody on the feed was saying about the Eisners didn't say Pompey. No, they didn't say Pompey. But if we hadn't sold to the PST hadn't sold it to the Eisners, Pompey would be nowhere near at the moment. We could not, as a PST, afford stuff that needed to keep the ground operational. I mean, the Eisners have put money in now, and I think everybody's seen that, yes, they're trying to make it last a lot longer than what it was going to before they started doing anything. Not this latest round of building works and everything. When they took over this club, we were a decrepit, crumbling ground, built in 1898. And I'll tell you what, the PST, and I said it just a second ago, would never have been able to save the club from being stopped from having supporters in the ground, because it was dangerous.
Yeah,
I agree, Mike, and I disagree. There's a point to which the work that what I don't like is the propaganda from the Eisners that say that there'll be 30 million pounds being spent on new infrastructure. No, it's not that much money. If you look at the accounts, the business, let's call it the business, was making money year on, and it was and the asset of £6 million for that football stadium is probably now worth 12, maybe 15 million if on the open market. They aren't Muppets, guys. They aren't Muppets, and what they've done is they've made the repairs. I know your point. They've made the repairs.
That was my point. Not about the money, Andrew. Now and how much it's worth. It's just that they saved the club from being folded completely, crumbling and falling down.
Stadium.
Sorry, the stadium. Yeah, that's all I mean. There's a stadium.
I got your point, Mike. However, the Eisners aren't the only business people out there with a brain. There's lots of people.
No.
And I'll give you this. There's the other thing that might happen. Other people might have invested had they not, and they might have invested better than them. I'll go back to, you cannot be a sustainable football club if you want to be progressive. You've got to spend the money. Now, when people say we want to be sustainable, actually, I don't want to be sustainable. I want to be like Luton Town. I want to be like Fulham. I want to be like Brentford. We mentioned it earlier. And that isn't sustainable. And you can't run a football club sustainably. You can if you want to be the bottom end of League 1 or 2. Then it's sustainable, even with 20,000 gates. So you either throw money at it and be more successful. I'm not talking Premiership. I'm talking about just getting into the level that our football clubs should be at. And just to go back to that, you and all of us around this table, if that football club, a PST, needed 2,000 quid from each one of us, we'd have found it. And then we would have found that money. We would have supported this football club to the very end if we owned it.
I was just hoping it would have been enough.
Well, it might not have been. But then they're going to look for investment elsewhere, haven't they? You know, it's a business at the end of the day.
Yep.
That's my view. And I mean, the Eisners have disappeared off the planet, haven't they? Where are they these days?
In terms of the actual kind of, there's been a stark lack of tweets, I think, is what you're talking about. And the kind of, absolutely.
It's a propaganda I can't cope with. This barrage of people saying that it's fabulous money being spent. It's not. It's just basic repairs that have to be done. We're not a Fulham. We're not a Brentford. And if you want to be, you've got to spend the money. That's my point. Otherwise, let's stop whinging and watch us in League 2. And then everyone's happy.
Right. Okay. And I think we can all take a breather for now. Thank you for the moment. What we're going to do is I sent the and there's widespread approval for what's been said there, and there's a lot of support for some of the other points that have been made tonight as well. So that's great. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a pause from the Danny Cowley discussion and debate. and I think there was a moment where we were walking out of Fratton Park and we were recording for the video, and I actually thought it would be a night to kind of stay by your phone and see what happens, but obviously that hasn't turned out to be the case, and we await to see what the next few weeks and days and weeks bring. I just want to finally go to the poll, which I posted 43 minutes ago. It's had 440 votes. 44% of Pompey fans or anyone who's watching the stream want Cowley in, and 56% are Cowley out. So
how much in? 46.
44 in and 56 out.
Right.
So there's it was a slightly more even split earlier on, but there we go. Brendan.
Tom, I was saying there's somebody who I've seen through the comments, and I don't agree with much that they've sort of said. Obviously,
there's numbers, there's hundreds on there.
They mentioned about Andrew talking sense, and I was like, yeah, Andrew has spoken sense. You know, we all can agree in spots that we said. But originally, what he said, which made me laugh out loud, was he come out and he said, "What are these guys on about? We've always been well supported." And I think, well, as I said earlier, because he would have been watching, Portsmouth Football Club didn't start in 2002. There were times when I first started going to Fratton Park in 1997, 98, when the average gate was 8,000. So, and even before that, in like the rubbish years of maybe the 70s and the 80s, it wasn't good supported either then. So
now I was going to Fratton Park in the 80s and early 90s. Well, late 80s and 90s, and it was abysmal, absolutely abysmal. But as soon as you get there,
saying we're well supported, we've always been well supported, is false. And I just want to call that bloke out because I think he's talking absolute swaddle, in my personal opinion.
Thank you for that. Right, it's time to take a pause. We're going to quickly go round the table with this. I sent the guys a message, and full credit to Forgotten Pompey Goals on Twitter for this, by the way, because we've decided that we're going to review the year of 2022 very quickly before we let you all go. I sent the gents a list of categories that I'd like them to answer. So I said to them, in 2022 for Pompey, we shall go through everyone's best player, worst player, best goal, best performance, worst performance. Oh, he's off. Where are you off to? Oh, he's coming back. Worst performance, unsung hero, and best signing. Reese, your best player in 2022 for Pompey, if you would.
And that's this season's team, I'm guessing you're talking about, aren't you? Not 2022 as in for last season's team as well.
I was thinking the year 2022, but you can go this season if you wish.
No, that's absolutely fine because I've actually got, unfortunately, I've put Gavin Bazunu for me, the best player for 2022.
He's doing well down the road, isn't he?
Yeah, but that's for them though, isn't it? I'm talking about for when he was in goal for us. It was,
He's spending a lot of time picking that ball out of the net these days.
You had to get that comment in, didn't you?
It was waiting for it, yeah. Sean, your best player?
Before he got injured, Lowry.
Okay. Aaron?
Well, I've gone Dale at the moment. It was Lowry, but Dale's just been, I think Dale's been one of our best players.
Yes?
See, and that's why we have this opinions. I mean, everyone has their own opinion. You got that, Bazuna, you got Lowry, you got Dale. I went for Colby Bishop, because he's scored 14 goals this season, and I've enjoyed watching him when he's played. So, again, we're all opinionated. We have our opinions, whether we want Danny Cowley in, Danny Cowley out, Yeah.
I was a little bit concerned at one point that people thought we were all aliens and thought we'd all agree completely on exactly what everyone's thinking. But there we go. Brendan, Mike, your best player in 2022 for Pompey?
Well, I did go for one person, and I've just sort of got in my mind, and I've gone against it now. But just due to his recent form, but I thought up until recently, I thought Sean Raggett was class for us. This calendar year, not just this season, the calendar year, I thought he's been a stalwart at the back and he's done really well personally. Just recently, his form's dropped off, and that'll be probably a recency bias if someone's going to say I'm wrong, I think.
Who's talking about? Marlon.
Mike?
I know we need this player, and wish he'd never left, but he had to because he was on loan. I want Hayden Carter back.
Yes.
And he's not playing for them.
The chat's gone Bazunu, Dale, Packham. About where you're the big finale. Ogilvie, Dale, got to be harnessed from an Ipswich Town fan. That's funny, that one. Dane Scarlett, Ogilvy from Dylan. That's
Sorry,
another
language.
surprise as well. Ogilvy, best left back in the league. Definitely not Bambi Raggett. I didn't think you were going to say that one.
I didn't say that.
Hayden Carter says an agreement with you, Mike. Aidan O'Brien is a shout. Raggett turns like a London bus. How is a club the size of Bournemouth so far ahead of us? Investment, we mentioned that earlier on. Hurst from Johnny Walters. Papa said Hurst. Bazunu, licensed to concede. So that's the best one all night, that comment. That is my favourite one, Melissa. Thank you for that. And get Ben Thompson back. Who is your best Pompey player in 2022, Andrew?
2022, for me, is Marlon Peck.
Okay. He went away and now he's back.
No, not for that reason, but the steady Eddie. The guy has got so much time and such a brilliant brain. He doesn't do very much wrong. He does everything right, in my view. I think he's a fantastic player. But then he is a championship player, isn't he?
And there's Ollie Clark has said Joe Morell as well. Right, we'll go back round the panel. We are going for the antithesis now. Worst player. Reese, kick us off.
Before you do that...
Oh, hang on. Reese, don't kick us off.
He's ruined it. Why does he have to...
Sorry,
Reese.
One second, my lovely boy. Mike, just interested, one of the comments there, someone has put in part of the buyout deal from the Eisners.
I thought we'd move on.
No, was investment in redevelopment of the football ground. That was part of the deal. They had to spend the money. Apparently,
that's right.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but then that's the
Yeah,
deal,
but if they hadn't, what sort of mess would we be in?
Well, legally they had to.
You've been doing your homework, haven't you? That way. There you go.
That was right. That person is right. I remember it. Yeah.
There we go. That's a great read. Right, we're going to move on because we've got stuff to do. Right, worst player. Sorry, Reese. People have already gone Tyler Walker, so that one.
Only
there we go.
Only one man for me, and that's Tyler Walker.
Tyler Walker.
Retro said Marlon. Did you say Marlon?
No, he didn't.
Oh, didn't he?
No. Sorry. I think he's had a sherry or two. Sean?
Oh, worst footballer? Probably Raggett, because he can't play football.
Aaron?
Tony Cliff.
Yeah, okay. Good. He's a good shout.
Gaz?
Yeah, I had a squad player, Raggett, and basically, squad player, I had Tunnicliffe, and a regular Sean Raggett.
Brendan, Mike?
Yeah, I was going to say him before it was in the chat. Tyler Walker, shocking. One goal, ridiculous.
What does your dad think?
I never liked Lee Brown. I always thought his fat ass running down the left wing was no good. So, but no, I'll stick with Tyler Walker with the rest of you.
What about Marquis?
Oh, yeah, Marcus played for us in 2022, everyone. Don't forget that one. I was actually going to go with what Jamie said. Sean Williams, for me, is the worst player
the other one for me
in 2022.
Oh, he fractured his spine. Leave him alone.
Sorry, Brendan.
Did he? No one
he was crap. I'll say that. He was crap.
Before we come to you, Andrew, everyone's pretty much saying Tyler Walker. Griffiths, too slow. Tyler Walker. Freeman is another one. Paul Downing from Dylan. That's a great shout. Sunderland fan said all of them, which is hilarious. Marquis has said, David has said Marquis. Morrison. Josh Griffiths from Jake on Facebook. Tyler Walker. Marquis. Wow. Dale. Run, no result. Griffiths, Raggett, Griffiths, Marquis, Andrew.
Yeah, Mike. I think I'm not going to agree with Brown, but I'm going to go with Brenda.
What are you saying?
Walker.
What? Tyler Walker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm enjoying this, and I'm liking the fact that the chat's getting involved in this as well.
He did get 12 games consistently.
I
think he was shocking.
Too many. 12 games too many. $3,000 a week too much as well.
That would have been my point. And that's some of the questions you can ask about tactics, isn't it? If he ain't good, you don't carry on playing him and pay him $3,000 a week, do you? Drop him.
Thank you. We're gonna hurry things on. We've got a couple more to get through. Best goal of the season.
Can I go first this time? Can I go first this time?
Go on.
Go on. I'll let you.
Yeah. Guess who? Hayden Carter's screamer from outside the box.
Should we go back? Should we go anti-clockwise then, Brendan?
Go on then. Yeah, I second that. Got goal of the season, the end of season award, so I stand by that as well. Yeah, 100%.
think we're forgetting something that happened last week. Gaz?
Well, I had a couple, but I went for Louis Thompson, the one that he scored. Remember that Louis Thompson belter?
Yeah.
That was a great goal. That was a great goal, that one. And Dane Scarlett's little header against Peterborough with that cross from Robertson. Boom, straight there. Because he was leaping like a leaping salmon. And he got, a good game, that one. Peterborough.
Aaron?
Keep pinching my line.
I actually liked Ogilvy's goal that he scored August the 16th against Cambridge. It was a big team effort, though, a massive team effort goal.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah,
It was, yes. Correct. That's a great shout, Aaron. They've picked that one at the very top draw, that one, mate. That's excellent. Sean?
I was thinking of Swanson's one. Was it Swanson?
Shrewsbury.
Outside the box, curled it in.
First one as well for him in his career. Doesn't get much better than that. Reece?
I've gone for Marlon Pack against Ipswich.
Oh, yes, he has.
Talk about timing, eh?
Oh, yes, he has. Yes. And it gets better. One of our great friends also got this on camera as well. This is even better.
Alex's.
No, I know. Alex's shot. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Have some of that.
Great filming, great.
Colby loves it as well. There we go. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's nice to have had so many great ones this season, isn't it? Let's have a look. So Brian went for Pat.
You didn't ask me.
No, hang on. We've tried to do this 3 times. You still haven't got the message. I go through what everyone says, and then we come to you. Swanson, Carter, Pack free kick, Carter for me. Easy Packs last week. Pack versus Ipswich. Pack all day long. Pack yesterday. Swanson / Pack. Coroma versus Plymouth. Didn't get a mention from anyone. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I thought we'd sort of discovered something special there, but then we realised that's kind of all he's got. That might be a little bit off of the fence. Corona Plymouth at home. Pax was last week, not this week. Hello to Andy from Australia who's just joined us. Welcome to Andy from Australia. Mingy with the nutmegs in the what was that?
Papa John's against
Papa John's.
Stevenage at home.
My vote for best panel members unanimously, Andrew, who talks sense. There you go. I don't know what the thing is with everyone and Andrew talking sense tonight, but there we go.
20 quid later, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, normally you get completely the opposite. Jacob's free kick was very good. Pack world class. The one Tunnicliffe never stored from Glenn. Thank you for that. George Hurst goal and Pack from Mason. So, Andrew, hit us with it.
My one, Tom, isn't the best goal, but it's the best moment when most of us were there.
I'd quite like it to be best goal because that's
best
the category.
Best goal because of the reason, not because it was the best goal, but because the reason why it's the best goal,
right,
was Ogilvy when he headed it in against Sheffield Wednesday in the first game of the season.
Yeah,
made us 3-2. Was 3-2 up that goal, wasn't it? That's the 3-2, wasn't it?
Yeah,
incredible atmosphere. That
was an incredible atmosphere, wasn't it? You were there, Gaz.
Gaz was there.
I've got that actually for the next question when it's the best performance. The second.
Well, Gaz,
so
what's your best performance?
My best performance was the second half at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yes.
And we
bang on.
a 3-3 draw, and we were there, weren't we? So what a great. We thought half time we were in trouble, and then we came out second half, all guns blazing. All of a sudden,
we'll win the league.
We're 3-2 up.
We'll win the league. Yeah, we said that.
I tell you what, there's a moment, if you go back on the channel, I'm not sure which home game it is, but we were walking out of Fratton Park past that Shell garage that we always seem to walk past, and Andrew went, I can see us finishing top this season. And I went, we might have gone a bit early on that, and so it proves. We'll go a little bit out of order. Retro, your best performance of the season, and for the benefit of the chat, we're going for best performance of the season. We've then got, I won't reveal what we've got because we'll confuse the chat, but we'll go best performance of the season. Retro.
Sheffield Wednesday, I think, definitely, because of the fact that I wasn't expecting them to win and set us up good for the start of the season.
Aaron, can I ask if there's a dog toy in your front room by any chance?
It's in the fish.
Yeah, with a dog. Yeah.
It's in the fish
no, she's like 29 weeks, and yeah, she's just a nightmare. Yeah, she's a proper naughty little girl, and she's biting Reece as well. So,
good. He's my
best.
Yeah.
I hope she's not, because Reece isn't even in your house. Best performance of the season, Aaron?
I think I agree with what Pete was saying, Sheffield Wednesday, but mine is August 16th against Cambridge. I know we went 1-0 down by Ironside with an unbelievable flick that went in the goal. Don't know how it went in, but then every single one of our goals was a team effort from the back to the front. Everyone contributed, and that is what I expected us to be like for the whole season. It was our 5th straight win on the bounce as well. The confidence was through the roof, and then you think, right, this is it. And that game was just phenomenal. And then it's just gone to pot, really. But that was my best performance as a team as well. Great team effort.
But who? Oh, I can't remember who we've done now. Reese, have you said yours?
No, I haven't. And I think the best performance of the season has to be Cardiff away.
See, that is the one that I wrote down, and I'm delighted you brought that up. When I made that noise and Joe Piggott scored, and we thought we were going to win the Carabao Cup. That's
proper Gary Neville.
Doing that. No, Sean's given up. Brendan, Mike, I think you're the last ones, and then we'll go to the chat, and then go to Dad.
Well, you have to remind me of mine, Tom, because I'm recording on my phone and I sent it back to you on WhatsApp, so you have to let me know. But Dad, you do yours.
Mine. Everyone loves
home.
Wigan up. Yeah, last home game of the season. That we beat the champions 3-1. I think, or 3-1 in the end, wasn't it? 3-2. 3-2. We battered them that second half, and I was really chuffed.
Mike?
Yeah. Well, I want to go back to February 22. Rocking Pompey at Fratton Park. 4-0 against Doncaster. Fairchild, Hurst, O'Brien and Raggett. Brilliant game. 17 shots on shots at goal, 9 on target. Only got 4 in though, but 58% possession. And I think it was a cracking day that day.
And another one that I wanted to add to the list was Rotherham at home, which is when was
because everyone was so annoyed. We lost the week before, didn't we? We lost at Morecambe. No, we drew at Morecambe, and everyone it was a half-empty stadium, wasn't it? Everyone had gone off, and people in the channel weren't watching. I'm not watching it. I'm going to the cinema, and the people that went there and watched it, and it was a great atmosphere for the ones who were there.
Brilliant. Yes. Jake said Tottenham away 4-2 win in 5 days' time. There you go. That's Thank you for that.
Good lad.
We'll just quickly go through some of these. I don't know if anyone's... there were a few, but I think we might have gone past a few of them. Ollie Clark said Cambridge at home. Cambridge 4-1, so a couple. There's an interesting one from Lewis. 5-2 against Scum in the Hampshire Cup. Gaz, you won't remember much of that one, but you were there.
I was there in spirit, but my body was a little bit drunk. It was a good performance, and say the goalkeeper was good as well. So yeah, it was always good to be the Scum, wasn't it?
Had to be seen to be believed that night with Gaz. That was brilliant. Andrew, what would be your best performance of the set? I know it feels a little bit silly of us to be talking about it right now, given current state of play.
Two games really, Tom. Add in there the 5-2 against Scampton. That was a great night out. Even though it was the Hampshire Cup, we really liked that one, didn't we? That was good fun. And the other one was Plymouth Argyle at Fratton Park, the 2-2. I
don't want to dwell on it too much because we've had probably an hour and a half of discussing it. My next one is worst performance. And the good news is New Year's Day cannot be included because we're talking about 2022. So please take Charlton out of your minds for the moment. Not going to take too long. I think we might all be general consensus MK Dons at home just before Christmas. Is that a little nod from everyone? I think it's a little nod from everyone. And we can
I had two anyway because I had 2 away games. And I actually had Charlton away 3-0 on a Monday night. And then I had Ipswich away. So my both away games losses.
There's been a few to pick from us as worst performance at the tail end of the season.
I'll put down, Tom, the last 3.5 months.
I think Wickham away as well would be worth a mention. I know, Brendan, we were there for that one, weren't we? That was pretty horrendous, and you were there as well. Johnny said Charlton away.
What about Ipswich when he beat us 4-0 at our place?
I don't. That
was like November
before.
Or
September. Last October, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. NK at home, Wickham away. There's quite a few going for Wickham away. 2-0 Pompey was dreadful. We're quite right. It was pretty horrendous. What do you reckon? Worst performance? Just very quickly, because I want to end on a high.
Worst one, MK Dons, I think.
MK Dons. Okay, we'll take that. Right, who is your unsung hero for Pompey? Now, it can be a new signing, it can be a player, it can be anyone you think. We'll go back round the rudimentary circle if we may. Reese, what are we going for?
I'm going to have to go with Conor Ogilvie, to be honest with you. I know, obviously, going off the performance, obviously, yesterday and things shouldn't be taken into account. But overall, since we signed him, I think, although he does get a lot of credit from fans, I'm not saying he doesn't, but compared to others, like the mainstream Bishops and Packs and that, he's my unsung hero.
Retro?
Ogilvie for consistency, but I don't know if that doesn't get over halfway line. I like the effect Swanson's had on the team since he's come back.
Yes. Mine was Swanson written down. Aaron?
Zach Swanson.
Okay. Gaz?
I had Zach Swanson. Obviously, Connor came in and tried to do a job at right back, so unsung hero for himself. He's a left back, but he played, in that role where we didn't have a right back at the time. So Connor did, he's done his bit for the team. So that's a little bit of a selfish act, shall we say. But yeah, Zach Swanson, since he's come in, really good.
Mike, Brendan?
Yeah, Ogilvie, without a shadow of a doubt. For every reason that everybody's mentioned before, and you can't really add to many more reasons. But yeah, Ogilvie.
You have to remind me of mine, but I'll probably go to consensus at the moment.
I'm not sure what you went for, actually. You unsung hero, Brendan. You went for Joe Morrell, would you believe? So
yeah, he gets loads of stick online, but I don't think it's worthy. Yeah, I think personally before the World Cup, that sort of little period before Andy, he might have been off the ball, not want to get injured, but I think what he's done from the time he signed, he's been class for us. Like the last Ipswich showed exactly what Joe Morrell's about and what he's going to bring to us.
We'll quickly go through the comments. Ogilvie, and when you'd be surprised that Dylan's gone for Ogilvie. Leo said unsung hero Swanson, no doubt. Adrian says this lot bar Andrew have lifetime passes to Disney as they see no bad in our Mickey Mouse owners who are silent. Adrian, I'd like to remind you that Fournilwrittenalloverit is the home of impartial and neutral and unbiased debate here, all about Pompey. Louis Thompson, Matt Ritchie when he signs next week. Zach Swanson Robertson is an unsung hero according to Max Delph. Swanson, Joe Morrell Swanson, Barry Harris from Rids, and Barry Harris again from Dawn on Facebook. Swanson, what do you reckon, mate?
Danny Cowley.
Oh, okay, there we go. He's not a player, but we'll. Unsung hero. No, to be fair, we didn't specify, did we?
I think he's done enough to he's done enough, and when you see the guy's passion,
all those people that said you were talking sense, they've all completely flipped now.
They've turned off now.
Yeah. He's a human being at the end of the day, and the guy's destroyed with all of this last 3 weeks, and it's destroyed him. It's wrecked his Christmas, probably upset his whole family, and he's probably in a bad place right now. So I'm just saying, you can put it out there. We all go through tough times. He's having a real tough time at the minute, so we should respect he's actually human at the end of the day, and he cares so much that he's hurting by it. So that's what I'm going to say.
Right, final one. Thank you if you stuck with us all the way through on a 90-minute stream. There's still time to leave us a like, and there's still 355 people that join us as well. There we go. We knew it was coming, Andrew. You've completely ruined it. There you go. It's all over, and this game of opinions has finally made its way around a full circle. There we go. Right, best signing in 2022. We'll go for the reverse anti-clockwise just to make sure that
Andrew's lost the plot. Meads, he says.
Andrew's now lost the plot from the former legend Sean Meads. There you go. Mike, kick us off. Who's the best signing that Pompey made in 2022 in your opinion?
I think it's going to be in the long term, Joe Morrell.
I know you come in the summer.
Oh, sorry.
21.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, then move on from that.
Oh, sorry. For this
20 from January last year to December.
Back. Marlon.
Yeah. Who did I say, Tom? Who did I say?
Come on.
Remind me. Come on.
You said Colby Bishop.
Yeah, he's been great since he signed. Stand by that. Yeah, 100%.
Gaz?
Yeah, I mean, I had Colby Bishop and Lowry. I know it's two, but the one's a free and one we paid. So
I would have said Lowry, but he's injured too much. Unfortunately, if he wasn't injured for the last 3 months, he'd be 100% be my
free signing, free transfer. So good business, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Aaron?
Yeah. First of all, big thank you to everyone in the stream who's actually told me it's Macclesfield that went out of business. I said Maidenhead, so big thank you to everyone there. And best signing is Colby Bishop.
Sean?
Yeah, sure, 100%. Oh no, Sean.
Torn between Bishop and Mingy.
Mingy.
No, just commenting. Yeah.
Oh, elaborate if you would. Why Mingy?
I just think he's one for the future. He's coming on nicely. I think he wasn't ready for first team football when he came in, but I see the future for him is going to be good as a footballer going forward.
Small technicality. He was like September, October time 21.
Okay.
He went out on loan to Maidenhead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Bishop then.
Another technicality, he might be going to Birmingham or West Brom next week.
I'll have to sell my shirt then.
Reese, finish us off.
There was actually a player before he got injured that no one's mentioned in a while, but Joe Rafferty. Before he got injured, he was class for us. Unfortunately, he got injured. However, I just echo everybody else. Colby Bishop.
I think to be in double figures at New Year's in the league is
definitely.
goal-wise, it's a great return, isn't it? Before we go to you, George, for some reason, has paid to say Jay Mengi. Thank you very much for that, George. You definitely didn't need to do that. That's much appreciated. There's Big on the pack, Swanson as a signing, Bishop, Pack the Buckland boy, Marlon and Owen. Owen Dale is another summer signing that I think we haven't mentioned. Best signing is Bishop. And Leo said, God knows where we would have finished without Bazoo last season. Did we sign Bazoo?
No, it's summer.
Butterfingers Griffiths says Fred on YouTube. Rob said Zach Swanson. It's Bishop Pack as a reject from over 10 years ago. There we go. It's the first time I've seen that one. Best signing would be the Harry Jewett White contract. Zach Swanson, Joe Rafferty, Morrison. Bishop, Marlon and Glyn said, good chat, gents. Appreciate that from Glyn. Thank you very much indeed. There's absolutely no need to pay for Fournilwrittenalloverit written all over it because after all, we are an Eisner's fan club. Harry comes back as director. Best Bishop from Lewis. Andrew, what do you reckon?
It's a tough one, Tom.
Best signing? It's got to be Colby Bishop.
No,
got to be.
Not for me. Not for me. It's not. Not
for you, Jeff.
No, not for me, Jeff.
Not for you, Jeff.
No, I actually like Swanson and I like Mingy.
We did discuss a technicality earlier.
Like those two.
But you're gonna choose one?
Yeah, Mingy.
Mingy.
Yeah.
That's another technicality. Right. One more time. We'll just go around the loop. Some final closing thoughts, and then we'll leave you. Reese, thank you very much for your company. Reese has become something of a stalwart here on Fournilwrittenalloverit all over it, and we're absolutely delighted that he is. Reese, would you like to leave us with any closing words?
Obviously, thank you to everybody that's got involved with the live stream today. You can clearly see everybody's passionate about what's going on in the club at the moment. That's definitely echoed with everybody's opinions, and I think that's the beauty of the game, isn't it? You know, we all can give our opinions without actually having to understand the facts behind it all. So, I really appreciate everybody getting involved and all of you welcome me on properly to 4-0.
Absolutely. And without a stream, without you watching the stream, we wouldn't have a stream, would we? We would have 6, 7, 8 gents having a chat together, but we probably wouldn't have a stream, would we? Papa says, good night, gents. Cheers for the content. Retro, any closing words for the viewers?
Just to echo what Andrew said, at the end of the day, it's a game of football, and everyone's just individuals, and it's a hard time for Cowley right now. So just remember, he's a person at the end of the day.
Aaron?
Busy couple of weeks for the Cowleys, but win, lose or draw, we are the Blues.
That's not normally how it goes, but I like how Maverick you did.
Something different. New year.
Thank you to Adrian Davis for the super sticker. That's very kind of you. And I already said hello to and good night to Papa. Gaz, all the way from Malta, who has been a stalwart of Fournilwrittenalloverit in 2022. What do you reckon?
I mean, Happy New Year to everyone, you guys, everyone that's in the stream. Look, we love the game. We love football. Let's just get behind the team. Whatever decision happens in the next couple of weeks, we'll still be supporting the Blues this year, next year, the year after. So, we're on a difficult road at the moment, but we haven't been here before. We have been here before, shall we say. I'm looking forward to what the future brings.
Donna said, good job, guys. Happy New Year up the Blues. Nick has said, thanks, chaps. Good discussions. Dylan said, see you a lot of Spurs. Cheers for letting the evening go by quick. You're more than welcome. Brendan, Mike, closing words to everybody watching.
I'll start off and then Dag can finish it off from us. I was going to say, thanks for the chat, guys. What I'd like to mainly say is, yes, we all have different opinions. It's not always great to be tunnel vision. Yes, I might be Cowley in, you might be Cowley out, but don't just shut someone down for their opinion. Listen and maybe try and take on board someone else's opinion, not just block it out and be completely so against it. Yes, it's a passionate game and we're passionate people, but at the same time, be open to discussion. That's why we have this. That's why we have a live chat open to hear everyone's views. You know, as we said, there might be 6, 7 Cowley in boys here, but you know, we don't just put Cowley in comments on the screen. We get everyone involved, which is good. And just be open to everyone's opinions. There'll be media out tomorrow morning, most likely from other platforms, who will be the direct opposite to what we said tonight. And you want to be on one side of it, listen to both, and then form your opinion after hearing both of them. That's what I'd say.
I like how you didn't mention what that certain media outlet was as well, Brendan. Thank you very much for
No,
doing that.
ask me to remove the sticker off my hat.
Good man. We'll speak to Mike and then we'll get Dad's thoughts. Mike, hit us with it.
Yeah, so you don't want me to mention them then? Okay, fair enough. No, I won't. I'm joking. I echo everything that Brendan says. We're quite diplomats in this house. We respect people's views, opinions. But you've got to be able to speak freely and openly, and that's what we do when we read all your chat that's going on besides us as we're talking. I don't read all of it because I haven't got time. It's whizzing in there tonight. It's been absolutely tremendous that the public out there have got on board with us tonight after such an awful game at the park yesterday. But as everybody says, we've all got to stick together. We support Portsmouth Football Club, whether it be through thick or thin, wherever the team takes us. We've got to ride the storms when it's rough and sail in the breeze when it's going lovely and swimmingly. Keep the faith, play at Pompey.
Andrew?
Just two things, Tom. One, I would say if we'd beaten Ipswich and hadn't lost to Charlton, would there be such a strong debate about Cowleys, whether they're good enough or not? That would be the first thing. Second thing is, Fratton Park's never been like this before. We normally get behind the team. If we were behind the team like we would always be in the past, i.e. get that old girl rocking, get behind the team 100% and scare the life out of the opposition, which we would easily do if Southampton were coming to town, for argument's sake, that sort of atmosphere, if we created that at Fratton Park instead of the negativity that's coming from the terraces, maybe, just maybe, it would instill the confidence in the team and the players. Maybe that would give us the 12th man that we need. That's what I would say. And maybe that's the wrong thing to say, perhaps, because people are a bit fed up with what's going on. However, if we all get behind the side of the next home game, which I think is Exeter, and assuming Danny's still there, let's all get behind the team. Let's get behind it like we can, and let's get behind the team and make it happen.
Yes. Thank you for that. And I think division helps no one might be something that we want to add to the tail end of the stream. A thank you to you for sticking with us. And as I said a minute ago, we're absolutely nothing without you out there. And we're nothing without you subscribing and liking and commenting and keeping us going. And it really does mean a lot from the bottom of our hearts for you sticking with us. I know it's a hot topic at the moment and it's attracting a lot of attention. But at the same time, we're really grateful for you sticking your trust in us for an hour and 45 minutes and sticking with us and leading the conversation as you have done in the comment section down below. That's where we're going to leave you tonight. Thank you for being with us. As you've had such a fantastic response, and I know it's a driven issue, but we've spoken about other things besides the obvious. We'll be back with 4-0 Sunday Live next weekend, following our trip to Tottenham Hotspur. Myself, Andrew, and all of these wonderful people, hopefully, if they're all available, will be with us to come and join us to debrief the Tottenham away game. Until then, keep the faith, look after yourselves. Remember, football, it's not life and death. It's an awful lot more. Keep the faith. See you soon and play out Pompey. Bye from us.
Slava Ukraine.